Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here, once again. Right, it has really been a while now, a good like 2-3 weeks or something since my last video. I don't know guys, I've had such like a iffy attitude, like that's the only word I can muster right now. Sort of iffy attitude towards video games in general. I'm just seeing them as such like first world pains right now that I have to deal with. I think because there's quite a few out at the moment, especially like big RPGs, that I really want to play, I really want to love, but they're just like daunting to me at how much time they're taking. Like I'm 45 hours into Persona 5, and I don't think the ending is anywhere in sight in that game. Okay, I don't even have all the party members yet, and it's 45 hours. It's like unbelievable, you know? I mean, perfect example there. I was playing through Banjo-Tooie, you know? Many of you know I really fell in love with ukulele. I played for Banjo-Kazooie again, really loved it. I was playing for Banjo-Tooie, still loving it. I know some people are like iffy on that game, but it's my favourite of the bunch, honestly. But I just decided there, no, the game is so big, I just can't justify playing it right now because I gotta play these other games. And that's an awful feeling with video games, isn't it? You know, they should be these like sort of leisurely things, not these things that are just like... I'm really close to dropping Persona 5. It's like, I think like this every time I'm not playing the game, you know, it's like, but at the same time, it's dropping Persona 5, you know, like, why would, yeah, I don't know, weird feelings, weird conflicting feelings that are so first world, so like non-problems that just, fuck it, let's get on with the video, right? You all came here to see this, because trust me, like playing games isn't my only like problem right now, as I'll get into right here. So yeah, okay. First thing I want to do, right, I want to actually give a little shout out to a fan site that I go to a lot called SegaBITS. Okay, I've been going to this site for a good few years. I was even featured on it once. I did like a little reaction video to one of the Sega CEOs or whatever, saying there was going to be like Shenmue and Skies of Arcadia HD. You guys remember that video where I was like taking Volvic and I just did a double spit take, you know? Good times, good times. They actually featured that and I thought, oh, that's pretty awesome. But they recently came out with a top 100 Sega games list, and it was really, really interesting to me. Apparently they gathered lists from everybody in the community and stuff and like averaged it out, and yeah, it was a really interesting read for sure. And when going through the list, okay, I was quite pleased to see that, provided we include like digital purchases, you know, digital downloads, I own 97 of the 100, not 97, 93, sorry, of the Sega games that are out at the moment. And I was quite pleased with that, but at the same time I'm like, I need to hurry up and like get these other games, you know? But even more so, we'll talk about the first game here. There was one game on the list that I actually hadn't even heard of. It was relatively low on the list, like 80 something, so maybe it's not that good. But I was still like, oh man, this is a Sega game that I've never heard of? Why haven't I heard of it? And I immediately went on eBay and I realised why I hadn't heard of it. It was only released in Japan and Europe, and it's pretty much as expensive as Panzer Dragoon Saga, okay? And like, despite my rant about video games being first world pains just there, I can't deny my passion for them and my passion to collect them, even more so than my desire to play them. I'm so messed up in the head, it's unbelievable. But I sort of looked at it, and oh shit's fallen. Not this, thankfully, because this was expensive, and I can't believe, okay, go on eBay after you see this and see how much it was. I paid about that threshold. I have problems. This is deep fear for the Sega Saturn, and yeah, I was... Apparently this is a Resident Evil clone, but it was also the very last game that Sega published for the Sega Saturn, and pretty much the last game for the Sega Saturn, at least in Europe, because like I said, it didn't actually come out in America, which is pretty crazy. And yeah, like I said, it was on that SegaBITS 100 games list, so I felt like I just had to own it, and yeah, it's... I got it now, so I will give this a playthrough. I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm not giving it a wee playthrough. It actually took me years to play through Panzer Dragoon Saga. Like, let's bring this up here. Let's show this off here, shall we? It took me years to play through this. I bought this with my very first paycheck from my current job. You know, as soon as I got paid, I was still living with my folks. I was like, I'm buying Panzer Dragoon Saga because this is always like the pinnacle of any collection. You know, this is the game that you always hear about when it comes to like rare and expensive games. So I was very determined to own it. And yeah, now I guess I have another one, which is pretty nice. And like I said, I played through this recently. It's wonderful. Really, really, really good. I enjoy this game immensely. So hopefully Deep Fear can provide this a similar sort of experience. So I'll pop it up there, up against Panzer Dragoon Saga, and yeah, it's good to have that. Another game that was on the list that I don't own, I have actually ordered, but it hasn't arrived yet. But I can't be arsed waiting for it to come, so I'm just going to put an image of it up here, is Fighters Megamix, also for the Saturn. Now, this game was actually a 3D fighting game, of which there was a lot of on the Sega Saturn, but it was a mix-up of Virtua Fighter characters and characters from Fighting Vipers, which is a game I've got there. Never played that one, but this one was kind of like basically a Sega mashup fest, you know, like there was a bunch of other characters as well, including the Hornet from Daytona, USA, which I thought was hilarious when I first saw it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take this. But yeah, I played quite a bit of Virtua Fighter 2 back when back in the day on the Saturn. But my favourite fighting game by Sega was always Last Bronx. Okay, nobody talks about that one, and I was upset that, you know, Fighters Megamix, you could have put Last Bronx characters in there and you'd have all these fighting game characters from Sega. But whatever. Fighters Megamix, I've got that now. It's not here yet, but I have that now. So, only 5 games to go. Hopefully one day. Okay, now, the reason I was also so apprehensive about purchasing Deep Fear was because I also made another fairly significant purchase. And by the way, I'm on like really cheap food and like no treats whatsoever for the rest of this month. I've really got a problem, and I'm really irresponsible with my money because a lot of you probably know this. I was going on about on Twitter. I got a Switch again. There was like a new batch of Switches. Hopefully they won't have any syncing issues with the Joy-Cons, which is the reason why I traded in my first Switch. Well, I traded it and I returned it, really. But like, annoying story with it, right? Because you know how when you go on Amazon, they tell you in the item's description, you know, get by this day. I remember I was like viewing this on a Monday and it said get by Thursday. And I was like, get by Thursday? Nintendo Switch? Awesome, because you can't find a Nintendo Switch anywhere in Glasgow, okay? You go into all the shops, nobody's got it. So, yeah, it was really nice to see that and get that. So I also ordered a couple of games, and these games came before the actual Switch. And then, like, when these games came and there was no Switch, you just go on like my order list and it says it's not going to be here until the end of the month, which I was very pissed off about. But at the same time, it is definitely coming. It's just not here yet, and I will have myself a Switch. And the 2 games I got was another copy of Breath of the Wild, which I've already got for the Wii U. I love this game, but I was very keen to own both versions of it. I actually had this originally for my first Nintendo Switch, and I didn't plan on returning it. I planned on keeping it, but I kind of like put it in the bag along with the Switch and handed it to the lassie in the shop, and she kind of just took the game and returned it as well, and I was just like, yeah, it's alright, I guess I'll return that. I feel bad for her because I licked that cartridge and now it's in some second-hand bin. Maybe you've got it, who knows? But yeah. And the other game, predictably, is Mario Kart 8. Both of which are fucking games I've got on the Wii U. It's brilliant, isn't it? But yeah, this is the other, I guess, must-have game, despite also being on the Wii U. So I'll get a Switch. It's going to be coming sometime next week. So it'll be good to have that again. Because I did really like the Switch when I had it. When it fucking worked, that was. It was a really nice bit of tech. And I watched like the ARMS Direct during the week there, and I'm really hyped for that game now. And Splatoon 2, because at the end of that Direct they showed like the single player trailer for ARMS 2, you know, for Splatoon 2, you know, and that looks amazing as well. So yeah, quite hyped for a couple of games. That's awesome. I really hope E3 tells me has Nintendo just shoving in my face how amazing the Switch is gonna be in the coming months/years, you know. I really hope to see a lot for the console there, because pretty much after Splatoon 2 and ARMS, pretty much all there is to look forward in the pipeline is Super Mario Odyssey. Apparently Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is still coming out this year, as well as a few other RPGs that I'm looking forward to. But either way, Nintendo, please surprise me. That'd be nice. So we'll wait and see. Okay, now next up I have Blast Cores for the N64. Now this was really cheap and I did pick it up. And to be honest, the only reason I picked it up, I know it's actually incredible. I know absolutely nothing about this game. I just know it's made by Rare. And again, with my whole ukulele phase, I went on a bit of a Rare phase, I guess, because I think in the last collection update, or one of the last ones, I was showing off Donkey Kong Country 3, which I'd never owned. So I'm like, okay, let's try and get some more Rare games, and this was a really cheap one, so I got it, so yeah. Not much to say, but it's there now. Okay, now next one. This was this is a series that it's quite funny. It's very near and dear to my heart. Even though I'm not completely sure I like it as a game that much, I'm more drawn to like the world and the characters. It's something from my sort of teenage years, my Dreamcast days, really. And I've played these games before, but I traded them in years ago before I started properly collecting games, and I was just like thinking to myself, why don't I own these games anymore? I'm collecting now, I should have them. So I decided to pick them up, and these are the games from the Legacy of Kain series. Soul Reaver 2, which I believe was a launch title for the PS2 and one that I played a lot. And Legacy of Kain Defiance on the Xbox, which was like, you got to play as Raziel and Kain. So yeah, Legacy of Kain, I really like those games, you know. It's weird, it's not that I love playing them per se, but I think back on them and I'm just struck with like really good memories of them. One of my biggest like bits of love actually comes from this guy right here, Raziel, one of the main characters. You know, he is like one of my favourite gaming characters ever, like solely based on his design. I just think he looks so cool with that scarf around his like not in a hipster way, it's just a really cool looking scarf, and of course he's got the Soul Reaver coming out of his palm. It's pretty kick-ass, and you know, the other character in the main character in the series, Kain, he's pretty cool too, but Raziel, man, he's awesome. So, and it's interesting because I've not even played Blood Omen. I've played both Soul Reavers, and I've still to play like both Blood Omens, and I did play Defiance back in the day. I really want to just go through all these games again, but I own all of them all on different consoles now. I own Soul Reaver 1 on the Dreamcast, I own Blood Omen 2 on the GameCube, Soul Reaver 2 on the PS2 because it was exclusive, and Legacy of Kain Defiance on the Xbox. I actually don't own the first Blood Omen, which was for PS1. I believe I've got it on PSN on the PS3, but I should look into getting a physical version of that one at some point as well. But yeah, Legacy of Kain, I really love this series. I remember, yeah, I really like that series. Okay, so, and last game we've got here is a new game actually that just came out this weekend. That's Fire Emblem Echoes. Was really looking forward to this. This is in a lot of ways probably going to be like the last hurrah for the 3DS, at least for me. You know, it was this and Story of Seasons, Trio of Towns that I doubt. I'm pretty sure there will be a few games for the 3DS that are still going to come out that will like really interest me, but I think this is definitely the biggest one. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, especially because I've still not played Fire Emblem Fates. You know, I really feel like I'm the only one that thinks this, but I really did not like what Fire Emblem Fates did with its release. You know, like the 3 games and charging full price for all 3 games, sort of. Unless you bought one and you got the rest digitally for a discount or something. But basically, you couldn't get away with you couldn't get the entirety of Fire Emblem Fates without at least buying 2 of them digitally and spending more than twice the price of a full-priced 3DS game. And they had the gall to like sell a collector's edition, which was a cartridge that had all 3 games on it, and they only made like 5 of them, or some stupid number like that, because you can't find that anywhere. Same with the collector's edition for this. I tried to get the collector's edition, no chance. No chance, unless you are constantly in front of your PC all the time. If you're at work and you know you can't check your Nintendo's website 24/7, you're not gonna get that shit. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. But whatever. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that Nintendo releases Fire Emblem Fates. Maybe at the very, very end of the 3DS's lifespan, they just say fuck it and release a 3-in-1 cartridge for Fates, or maybe even port it to the Switch because I would like to play it. I just don't want to. I just don't want to indulge in that pricing thing that they did with Fates. It's annoying. But yeah, this is a remake of the second one and should be good. So yeah, Fire Emblem Echoes. And that's that, guys. Hopefully we'll have something different to talk about later on. Definitely check the description. I'm going to put in like a link to that SegaBITS Top 100 Sega Games. It's a nice wee read. Give it a go if you're a Sega fan. So yeah, that's it. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.